Hello and welcome everybody to today's update video from the Pro Traders Lounge. My name is Yunus and today I'll be giving you an update on the LA wave scenarios that I'm looking at. As Bitcoin has just hit a new all-time high, are we still bullish? Are we bearish? We will jump straight into that. Alright, today I would like to keep things as simplistic as possible, so it's going to be somewhat easy to follow for those that have already done some LA waves, of course. Taking the lows from 2022 and then building our way up and see what we can find here on the way upwards, and then we can have some targets, some invalidations which can help us into the future of what we can expect or what we can see towards the downside or upside, of course, depending on what we lose of levels or what we break towards the upside. So first thing that we notice here on the chart is going to be that, yeah, we have started with a nice impulse here, which we can mark. Pretty simple to follow here. As you can see, this was wave 1, wave 2, with a sharp wave 2, very nice. Wave 3, rule of alternation here, sideways wave 4, and then that fifth wave, which ended something very nicely here, and then we had a nice sideways correction piece. So if you just compare this impulse, and we have seen impulses before, we can just look at this previous impulse right here, which was also a nice one. As you can see, wave 1, sharp wave 2, wave 3, sideways wave 4, and then finishing that impulse there. And then we had, of course, that bigger impulse towards the downside, but these impulses look very similar, as you can see. Now, building our way up here, we can clearly see this was a nice corrective piece here. Let's mark this one as well. Let's put this in red for a correction. And now we are into another impulse. So we can already start to grab this one and say this is an impulse building. Do I believe it is finished yet? I don't think so yet. If we just compare the two sections and we say that this was wave 1, we had a sharp move here, so we can use this as a wave 2, and now we're only in wave 3, which looks likely. We're looking for that sideways move, wave 4, and then another push towards the upside. Looks the most likely scenario in my opinion here. If we just use our previous fractals of price action, as we know, LA waves are just fractals of previous price action that has happened. So we can really build off this, in my opinion. Let's go a little bit on the local time frame here, which means that we could only be in this wave 3. Have we finished this wave 3? Potentially. If we just look at some other subdivisions here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it definitely could be a contender that we have finished that wave 3. Let's put this in orange so it's a little more clear. Now we do need to see that sideways move is what we would like to see to give us that confirmation that we are into that wave 4 and then getting another push towards the upside. So that is currently what I'm looking at a little bit more locally. Of course, I can go lower time frames, but this is pretty much what we are at right now. If I just zoom out here a little bit again, then we can also say that this was potentially a wave 1 that has finished something, a wave 2 with a nice correction, wave 3 potentially that is finishing if we do have that final move to the sideways move and then a push towards the upside. That could be the finish of wave 3, and then we could see another wave 4 and then wave 5 towards the upside, which could bring us all the way, yeah, above 100k, I do believe. Depending on what happens, of course, into the future, do we get that sideways move here for wave 4, or do we see an aggressive move, something like that again? Then, of course, we can be talking about that bearish scenario again, which could lead us all the way back down here. We don't know that yet, but it's always nice to be aware of those scenarios. So you're not just thinking like, oh, what is happening? We already know what is happening once we start to lose some bigger levels. So we are always aware of those scenarios. Next up, we have a target here, as we are saying that this could potentially be wave 1, wave 2. Then the next target for wave 3 is going to be the 1618. If we just pull this one from the low to the high, and then to the low of where I believe wave 2 has finished there, then we can be looking at 77k, 77777, which would be a very nice one in that area. Yeah, which could be the first target to finish that wave 3, or also potentially, if you are looking at a bearish scenario, this could always still be an A, a B, and then C, with a bigger extension in wave C, which is not uncommon. It has happened before. I've seen it before. It could always happen, and which could finish the ABC at the highs here. But then what happens next is going to be important. Do we just see another structure built like this sideways? Then we know it's most likely another wave 4 building here, a higher degree wave 4 into the same degree that we had here. Something similar, something nice, something sideways. And then we can be anticipating another push towards the upside, something like that. Now, if that doesn't happen, and we see something like this, hitting that 1618, and we see aggressive moves towards the downside, of course, this is not what you're looking for a wave 4. And then you can be anticipating that this was more and more likely an ABC towards the upside, and we can still be looking for bigger moves towards the downside again. So very important information in my opinion if you want to be aware of some of the scenarios that could be playing out for the other wave count. It would all depend on what the structure is going to build in the future, of course. So 2 scenarios that I've quickly explained here that we could be expecting, but yeah, we need that data, we need that price action to get those confirmations. So let's imagine we are going to top out the wave 3 here at the 1618. Then we can pull a Fibonacci target, of course, for wave 4. The first one you're looking at is at 0.236, which yeah, looks nice so far. Why does it look like nice? If we just zoom out here, that also fits into the previous support that we also hit here, which is pretty nice. Of course, if that support doesn't hold, then it's going to be a quick move, yeah, at least another 10%, maybe to the 0.382. If that one doesn't hold, man, that doesn't really look that strong, as you can imagine. If you just compare these sections here from wave 2, and you're saying that wave 4 is going to be such a sharp one, that's not really great. So you really want to stay somewhat into that structure of a wave 4. Wave 4s are usually the ones that are more sideways, so you do want to see that happening. Once you start to lose support levels like this, support areas like this, 0.236, let's put this in green so it's a little bit more clear. Once you start to lose that, that's a first red flag. Then you come to the 0.382. The way we approach it is going to be important. If it happens something like this, that's not really great for a bullish scenario. If it happens in something like this structure, like a 3-way structure, then it could also always be that it is still building for a bigger push towards the upside. So yeah, there's a few factors into play that we need to see. But yeah, it's definitely nice to be aware of those factors and invalidations, because once we start to lose the 0.382, I do believe it's going to be more likely that there's going to be some more of a bearish scenario into the play. So could it still bounce from here? Of course, yes, it could still bounce from here. So the invalidation is pretty much not really like a hard invalidation, but just reaction based. What is happening here? How do we approach this area? And then we can still be talking about a wave 4 or not. Again, if it starts to see that impulsive move towards the downside, then of course we can still be talking about lower targets here, as I previously covered. Something like this is not always, it's not going to be unlikely once we start to lose that invalidation level like that. Yeah, we have seen Bitcoin dump 80% many times before, so it's not impossible. And then we can be talking about something as an expanding flat or a running flat, depending on what happens here. We have an ABC potentially, then another ABC for the bearish scenario, keep in mind. And then we could still be having another 3-wave or an impulse towards the downside again, bring us all the way back, depending on the targets that we can pull. Let's do this quickly here. Also, there's another pull that I want to do here, is from the low to the high of where I believe this finished is here, and then an expansion here, which is the 1.236, which also comes at that 1618. So it is going to be a key area for me. 78k, let's say 78k. Let's see what happens there. It's going to be pretty key if we do approach that area. the way we approach it, do we just squeeze through it? Do we have no reaction? Then of course, then we can just say that it is more bullish. Let's mark that as a key. If we do have a sideways piece here and we do come into that level, I will definitely be looking at the reaction there. Maybe some subdivisions there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then what happens there? Do we have a nice sideways move? We're expecting more upside. Do we see aggressiveness? And of course, we're looking for lower levels again. So 78K, definitely a nice area. And then the invalidation around 50K. Once 50K we start to lose 50K. That's definitely not really what you want to see here for the bullish scenario. Yeah, I think that's pretty clear here. Again, if you're then having that bullish scenario, we can still be looking for a lot higher here. We could be talking about targets like 100,000 to 120, I believe is going to be nice. If we just take one pull here from the low to the high of wave 1, and then from, yeah, let's say the 0.236, if we do bounce from there, let's see, yeah, 120,000 right on there. Could be the 1-to-1 of wave 1 to wave 5, which could be a nice target for that. So 120,000 would be a nice one for the bullish scenario here. Depending, again, if we do get a sideways move, a bigger range as we did here, and then we can definitely expect more higher targets again. But yeah, let's see what happens here first. If we finish that impulse here, let's zoom out here a little bit. Let's zoom in, I believe. So far, we need to see this wave 4 play out. Would like to see some sideways move, getting that push towards 77K, 78K. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is what we're looking for again, impulse. And then we can see what happens there. Reaction, no reaction. Does it push higher? Could always happen. But this is the first area that I'm looking at as a reaction trade. And then next up, again, do we see a big impulse towards the downside, or does it build another bigger range before moving up again? So I hope that was pretty clear already. If you have any questions, leave them into the comment section. Of course, I'm happy to help you. If you did like this video, please thumbs up the video. Let's go over a few trades that we have been doing into the launch here. Let's start off with the trade that we did. Oh yeah, this was a previous video that I had. Of course, the bearish scenario with the impulse towards the downside. But yeah, invalidation was at the highs of 48,800, which has been hit, definitely. So we will definitely keep track of the scenario that I'm doing right now. Keeping track of this scenario. Wave 3, wave 4, and another impulse towards the upside. The next trade that we did into the launch was at around 50K again. This was a few weeks back. We were looking for this wave 4, wave 5 towards the upside. This was back when we were at right here, I believe. Let me just check. 50K, yes, right here. And then we took a long here. Had that entry, confirmation of the entry, looking for 54K. Next target 56K. Of course, we hit it. It was a very nice trade with a break reaction here. With like almost a 10% move, and then we had the move right here was like 15% in total. I still had some left running from that trade, but it did get closed because of the trading platform that I was using closed the trades, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm already into a new long, of course. We have been looking for a new long at the key support area here last night at around 60K. We had a nice week into that, and of course we already know what happens next. Price is now already back at 67K, which is very nice. So I'm still into that long. Still looking for higher again. Definitely looking for higher unless we start to lose 60K support area. Then we can be talking about lower levels again. But yeah, small recap. Looking for a sideways move here before another push towards the upside. And then we will see what happens there. Did it finish the bigger impulse towards the upside with the ABC, which is the bearish scenario, or did it finish just a wave 3 and we are still looking for more sideways move, as a wave 4 could be on the higher degree be playing out before then bigger move again towards the upside, as we could be talking about 120,000 in my opinion. and then we'll see what happens, because after that you're still looking for a bigger correction, as this was just an impulse, and then still looking for a bigger correction. But yeah, that's far away. Let's focus on what is happening right here. Before I go, I would like to give you a quick sneak peek into the Pro Traders Lounge, of course. Give you a sneak peek of our general chat here from our members. Just quickly here go into that, as it's all TA related. We don't do really much of joking around here. Let's quickly scroll here. We see Patrick going into our take profits here on some of the altcoins. Very nice, all very nice, of course. Everybody making money here, looks very nice. Let's give a fire here. Let's scroll through them. Very, very nice. Love to see it, of course. Very active. If you're looking for a very active and profitable group, of course, be sure to check us out at protraderslounge.com. And if you want to see a little bit more of Elliott Waves, you can always follow me on Instagram. Instagram as well, yeah. We have been using Instagram, and you can also follow me on Twitter as well. Be sure to check us out there. If you have any further questions, please let me know in the comment sections. Or if you did like this video, please leave a like again. I really appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.